I wanted to talk about finding my personal style with the help of Francis Mallmann. Now you're probably wondering what an Argentinian chef had to do with me rediscovering myself and my personal style. So let me explain. Basically what happened was soon after I turned 50 years old, I found I kind of went through a style identity crisis. I kind of felt like I didn't really feel like I knew who I was anymore. I didn't really feel like I knew how I wanted to dress. And I felt kind of lost, which was a very strange feeling for me after being pretty much my whole life in fashion, that I didn't know what my style was anymore. So I started talking about this with friends and colleagues and really starting to analyze how I was feeling. And I realized I wasn't the only one feeling like this. That's actually what made me start this series on aging and style. And it was also the jumping off point for my first workshop. And I realized, wow, okay, this topic is bigger than just one video, but for now, let me explain my transformation. So basically what happened was, after analyzing it and talking about it, I went back to kind of basics. And my husband and I kind of had this ongoing joke. He's always calling me Francis Mallmann because of sometimes the way I dress around the house. Like, if I'm in my pajamas and then I'll add a big poncho on or a big scarf, and I thought, there's something kind of in this. What is it about Francis Mallmann? My husband and I had originally discovered Francis Mallmann from the Netflix series Chef's Table, and then of course we bought his cookbook Open Fire, and then I started following him on Instagram, and I realized that I really identified with his style because it's kind of like this organized chaos. He mixes a lot of different styles together, a lot of different genres. He always seems to be wearing things that work for a rugged, outdoorsy kind of vibe, yet he manages to make it look really chic. And I think that's what I was so drawn to. And what I realized during this whole process is that it's not necessarily about copying somebody's style, but it's about getting inspired by somebody and giving yourself permission to really be yourself. And everybody who I really admire in terms of their style is authentically, uniquely themselves, including Francis Mallmann. So this process took a little while. I would say around a year. And I found myself often getting dressed in the morning, wearing things that felt really comfortable, that were often a little bit oversized, that were kind of that mix of rugged and a flowy fabric, or something that was kind of old and used and loved with something that was a little bit more polished. And so I'd find myself getting dressed and putting things on and feeling really good in them, then thinking, I don't know if this works, and then saying to myself, what would Francis Mallmann do? Would Francis Mallmann wear this? And so it was like I was just really allowing myself to be me. So then, of course, I was starting to have fun. I was refining myself. I was being playful again about clothes and fashion, which was really exciting. So I spent some time, you know how much I love Pinterest, looking on my board, outfits I love, and seeing if I could recreate some of the looks of Francis's that I really loved. To give you an example, it's kind of like fisherman's look. Obviously, he's cooking over fire, outdoors. He's got the white jeans on, the big kind of fisherman sweater, beret hat, and then the big leather boots. Love this look. But I wanted to translate it into something that was a little bit more feminine and a little bit more something that I could pull off. So when I found this outfit, the oversized fisherman sweater, the scarf wrapped around, the jeans, the socks, the Sperry's, I loved it. And from there, I took it to these three looks. The white jeans with the kind of fisherman-inspired sweater, this old vintage sweater that's wool with the jeans and the Sperry's, and then of course a cream colored sweater with a cream colored scarf, jeans, and again, the Sperry's. All these looks feel really good. I'm comfortable in them, and they're all a bouncing off point from this original look. And then I took this same idea here, this kind of mix of clunky boots, jeans, big jacket, and a hat. And then I found this image, which I love. The textured sweater, the textured jacket, the toque, the clunky shoes, the skirt, and I turned it into these outfits. And from there, I wanted to do something that felt very Francis to me, and that's doing this poncho with the big hat. This is something that I would definitely be wearing in the garden, and my husband would say that I was having a Francis Mallmann moment. But now I was feeling like, okay, I could pull this off out in public and feel good about it. It is about his style that I really like, that helped me come up with my 3 words to describe my personal style, which is boho, classic, grandfather chic, is I like the fact that he mixes these rugged pieces with something that's a little bit softer, with a fabric that's textured, with interesting color palettes. I feel like he has a bit of a romantic way of looking at the world that really had me inspired. And what I realized throughout this whole journey is that as we age, we just know ourselves so much more. We actually know our style so much more. And I think that we kind of, at least I did, I doubted myself a little bit, and I had to re-find that. I had to rediscover that confidence and that understanding of who I really am and what really feels good for me. I want to say a quick thank you to all the comments in this series of Aging with Style, because that's also really helped me realize that as we get older, we know ourselves even more, and we just become confident and sit in that without making excuses for it. Of course, it's lovely to add in something that's kind of trendy from one season to the next, whether it's a shoe or a bag or a silhouette of a jean, for instance, just to feel like you're part of pop culture. But staying true to who you really are is, for me, what style is all about. Because if you feel good in an outfit, you're going to look good in an outfit. And I know this, but somehow I kind of forgot it. Anyway, that's it. I wanted to say that I do have another workshop coming up if this is something of interest for you. June 13th, it's called Blame It on Venus. We're going to be talking about bringing out that inner sexy goddess and how to feel sexy and dress sexy as we age. So tickets are on sale on my website. You can check them out there. Of course, don't forget, you can follow me on Substack, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to hype. It helps me so much. And please let me know in the comments your thoughts on aging with style, what has been your challenges, what you've discovered about your style as you've aged. You know I love hearing from you. So that's it for this week, and we will see you again next week.